G'day everyone, what is going on? It is your favorite producer from Down Under, Jin, back with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a dark orchestral sample for artists such as Future or NARDO WICK inside of FL Studio. But yeah, if you are new here, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, you might as well flick that little bell to get notified every single time that a new video drops. Friendly reminder that I do stream live over on Twitch as well. So if you do want to catch up with the shenanigans, which recently has been a lot of shiny hunting on Pokemon, would greatly appreciate it if you follow me over there as well. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into FL Studio and let's deconstruct this sample. Okay, so here we are inside of FL Studio, and honestly, just like majority of my samples, not much is happening with this one. We have 7 elements. The first element that comes in from Contact, and this one is the bassist sustain coming in from Sonoscore the Orchestra. Now, I can highly recommend this bank if you are making samples for Future, NARDO WICK, or even if you're making drill samples. This is honestly a really good Contact bank. All we are doing with this one is we are playing one note, which is E. Now, keep in mind, the BPM of this sample is 172, but the final key is actually D. We do pitch it down 2 semitones at the end. But yeah, we have this one note, which is E, playing throughout the whole sample. In context, it literally just sounds like so. Nothing really fancy with it, just playing one note throughout the whole sample. The effects with this one, really simple as well. We just have an EQ come in where we get rid of a decent amount of low end and some of the high end as well, because we didn't really need those frequencies. The next element comes in from Analog Lab, and all we're doing with this one is playing a really simple melody. When it comes to making samples for Future or NARDO WICK, it's all about the effects that you use. The melodies can just be really, really simple. So all we did with this one is we worked in the key of E minor yet again, where we worked our way down the scale to begin with, this G to F sharp, working with the semitone change, down to E, and ending it on B. We then copy and paste that one down an octave. As you can see with the top melody though, this one is lower velocity wise, and it is slightly strummed out as well, just to give it a little bit more of a delayed feeling. Going on to the next part, working our way up, where we have B to C, one semitone change, to D, then back down to B. Yet again, copied and pasted down an octave. The exact same part as the first part, where we go G to F sharp, semitone change, E, ending it on B, copied, pasted down an octave. The final part, to give it a little bit of variance so it doesn't sound like the exact same thing being played over and over again, we work our way up, where we have B to C, yet again, another semitone change, making it dark, eerie, suspenseful. Then we go to D and E, but surprise, surprise, we copy it, paste it down the octave. But in context, this is what the mallets sound like. Now, the preset with that one, before anyone asks, is the Mallet's Dream, and you can possibly hear some granulization effects with this one as well. That's because if we go onto the effects, we have Analog Lab here, which is being routed to Insert 3, which is practically the mallet bus, and what we have is a guitar rig, where the preset that we're using with this one is the Acoustic Multi. Surprise, surprise, like usual. Room comes in with the Cosmic Keys, mixes on 6%, and the Master Wet Dry over here is on 40%. We have a 3D metric EQ come in, where we're getting rid of all of the low end, boosting some of the high, and we're just doing some shaping just to allow it to stand out in the mix a little bit more. Sound shifter comes in where we're pitching it down a full octave, but we have the Master Wet Dry on 20%, so we have a little bit of low end come in, but not really a lot. Portal comes in where we are using the Shining preset. Wet Dry is actually all the way up. We cranked this up to 100%, but then we go to the Master Wet Dry over here and we change it to 20% because I wanted the full granulization to come in, but then I wanted to change it on the Master Wet Dry through FL Studio in regards to how much you can actually hear it compared to the actual melody itself. And our Vox Stereo comes in where we're compressing it -6 so that you can actually hear the granulization a little bit more as well. Then last but not least, Fruity Limiter, just to do some peak controlling, because with the granulations, there were parts where it was really peaking, getting really loud, and then there were parts where it was really quiet. So the compressor kind of levels it out a little bit, but there were some peaks that were still happening. So the limiter just kind of grabs those peaks and go, hey, get back to where you need to be. But yeah, honestly, the next part with this one, analog lab yet again, and all we're doing is just 2 notes, E6, E5. What we did with this one is we threw it into the playlist and we turned it into these audio files right here. This part 1 right here, as you can see, reverse, normal. If I was to solo these ones, this is what it sounds like. Now to get that sound that you hear, we have one being pitched up an octave, the other one is being pitched down. Now both of these are being routed to insert 3 as well. That's what this track here, right here, number 2, is also being routed to insert 3. So all the effects that are going through the first instance of the mallet are going through the second instance as well. Another element that we do have that comes in is this church bell, which comes from Satan's drum stuff, and all it sounds like is like so. Literally the key of E being played over 2 octaves. The next element that comes in though comes from Contact, and this one is the Neo Pure Dark preset. We are playing 1 note. That one is the root note, which is E. The reason we only have 1 note instead of going 2 or 3 octaves is we also have the bass violin playing as well. And when I actually put in 2 ranges of octaves, it started to clash, started to get muddy. So preference with this sample, get rid of all of the octaves. We just needed 1 just to avoid that muddiness. And in context, we ended up with something that sounds like so. Really simple, but yeah, with the bass, it kind of fills up the low end a decent amount. The effects with this one, we keep it really simple. We just have an EQ come in where we get rid of some of the low end, we boost the bass a little bit, and then we get rid of all of the high end so the bells have a lot of room to breathe. Going on to the next element and the final element, it comes in from Contact, and this one is the viola staccato. Yet again, Sonoscore the orchestra can honestly recommend this bank. And all we did with this one is we have 2 instances of the bass note or the root note, which is this E, but we do have it in varying lengths. As you can see, this E4 goes for 2 bars. This E5 only goes for 1 bar, but that one gets repeat over and over and over again. With the top melody, we keep it really simple. We have this B, which is actually the 5th of the E minor triad. Then we go up to the G and the F sharp. Yet again, tension, because there's only 1 semitone difference between that. Then we tiptoe with the C and B. As you can see, it goes C, B, C, B, working with the semitone change yet again. And then up to the G to the F sharp, another semitone. And to finish the first part of the pattern, we go C, D, and then E. We copy that and we paste it over for the next part as well. With the velocities down the bottom, you can see that they have been changed as well, just to give it a bit of a humanized feeling, because having all the velocities the exact same kind of made it sound a bit robotic, and we didn't really want that. But in context, this is what the violas sound like. You know, really simple. The effects with this one, though, we're keeping it really, really simple. An EQ comes in where we're getting rid of a lot of the low end. We're boosting the mids to high mids, and we're rolling off the treble just a little bit so it's not clashing with the bells. Everything gets routed to insert 8, where we have a sound shifter come in where we're pitching it down the 2 semitones, putting it onto the key of D. And RC20 comes in where we are using the Tri-Freeze preset. Now, if you do want to cop this preset and a whole bunch of others, we'll be leaving a download link to it in the description where you can actually get them for free. But if you do want a massive pack with all of these presets and so much more, we'll be leaving a link to that one as well. That one is available on my store. We have an EQ that comes in where we're just getting rid of some of the high end because we didn't really need that much of it. Then last but not least, a fruity limiter comes in just to control the peaks because there were really high peaks and we just wanted to kind of tame it back a little bit. But yeah, that is how you can make a dark orchestral sample for artists such as Future or NARDO WICK inside of FL Studio. If you are new here yet again, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, you might as well flick that bell so you get notified every single time that I upload a video. Friendly reminder again that I do stream live over on Twitch, so if you do want to catch up with the shenanigans, which at the moment is shiny hunting in Pokemon Shining Pearl, would greatly appreciate it if you follow me over there as well. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week for another video.